podcast. I'm your host, Judy Lee. I'm the vision creator. I empower women over 40 to create their dream life. So, welcome back. I'm excited about today's episode because we again are diving into something that can really and truly change your life. And it's all about vision. So I entitled this Vision 101, how to really get started getting clear on your vision and starting to live the life you love. So if you've ever felt stuck, felt unfulfilled, felt like you're just going through the motions, then this episode is for you. And maybe you know deep down that you are meant for more. But sometimes we're just not sure what that looks like, and we're not sure on how to get there. So that's where the vision comes in. I talk about vision a lot. It's so important in creating our future. So today we'll just break it all down and just go over why having that clear vision is so powerful. We'll talk about some things that hold us back and some simple steps that you can take today to start creating that life that you truly want to be living. So grab a coffee, a cup of tea, get into a comfy spot, and let's get started on your vision journey. So what is a vision? Why does it matter? How do we do that? And what difference does it make? So a vision is just exactly what it says. It's a vision. It's what we can see, is what we can visualize for our future. So when you think about your future tomorrow, next week, next year, 5 years from now to the end of your life, what does that look like? What do you want to be experiencing? What do you want to be doing? What's going to bring you joy? What's going to make you really, really happy? If we don't start creating our future, you know what happens? We end up with whatever happened yesterday. And that's why so many of us, myself included, get into this feeling of living our life on autopilot. We don't know what we want for today. So we do whatever we did yesterday. And that's kind of the clarity that we have around it. We don't know that there's anything different. We don't know that we actually have the capacity and the power to change our life. All we have to do is decide. We have to choose what we want, and we just need to go and do it. We need to get clear on exactly what it is that we want. So when we have that vision, when we sit down and we start to create it, we use our imagination, we pull out things that we love to do, we really get in tune and aligned with our soul. And our soul is where we house our gifts and our talents and the value that we bring to the world. It's in our soul. So often we're in our mind, right? We're thinking about how is that going to happen? We're going to think about the money that it's going to cost. We're going to think about how I'm never going to make any money doing that. We think about the people that we're going to offend, maybe how people are going to reject us. We think about all of the fears that stand in our way. But when we get really deep and clear on our vision, we don't feel stuck. A lot of those fears don't come up. And if those fears do come up, we can deal with them in a different way, right? We're aware of them. We can move through them. We can move past them because we have this powerful foundation in our vision that pulls us along. That's the power of a vision. And so sometimes people will start with an intention. This is what I intend to do. This is my goal. This is my strategy. This is what I want for the future. And it's kind of the same as vision, but vision is very firm. It's something that we visualize. It's what we see. When we can start seeing that in different ways, we start to bring that towards us. We trust in our vision. We have a strong why behind our vision. So when we create that vision, that strong vision, it often eliminates those feelings of being lost, being stuck, not knowing what to do, feeling frustrated, feeling overwhelmed. So think about your vision, right? The more that we work on this, and this isn't a one-time package, this is something that is worked on and worked on over time. And the more we work on our vision, the more it increases, it gets richer, it gets deeper, it expands. We start expanding as a person. So as we start stepping into our vision, sometimes we have to be a different person, a different version of ourselves so that we can go out and do the things we want to be doing. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, feeling like you're living on autopilot, feeling like you're invisible, feeling like you're always the last one to be taken care of, um, feeling like you're always taking care of other people, whether it's children or your parents or other adults, or taking care of bills and doing everything yourself. Sometimes we lose ourselves in that process, right? Because we get so used to just pushing through, pushing down our feelings, pushing down our emotions, that we just don't know any different and don't even know how we're feeling in those situations. So we just keep doing the same old thing. But you know what happens when we do that? We get the same result. So the only way to get something different is to change our thoughts, our beliefs, or our actions. And we do that gradually over time. Remember, it's a journey. It's journey into our future, journey into the vision that we've created. And sometimes we just feel overwhelmed, even in decision making. And again, that's why vision is so important. The number one thing, number one value when creating our vision, and the number one value in my business in sharing this with other women, is serenity. We have to get to a place where we can just slow down, or we can stop. And sometimes God gives us the opportunities to slow down or to stop. And sometimes we don't like those opportunities. Sometimes we're made to slow down. We are made to stop and sit and think about our life. I know that's happened to me. I didn't know until I slowed down and started thinking about how I was feeling, what I was doing, and what was working well in my life and what wasn't working so well. So sometimes we just have to take those moments and those opportunities to sit and think and become aware of our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs about our life. And usually that will start to point us in the right direction. If we can identify some of the things that are going on in our life that we're not really happy about, I don't like this, I'm not really crazy about this, I wish I didn't have to do that. We can look to the other side of that. I would love this. I'm passionate about this. This brings me so much joy. I want to do more of that. But it takes that time. And we have to start putting ourselves first in front of everything else that we do in our life. We are our number one friend and confident. It's so important to take really good care of ourselves. And that comes in self-care physically, our mental health, our spiritual health. And think about how we talk to ourselves. That's so important, right? Our self-confidence, our self-esteem, our self-worth. What do we deserve? Going through all of those things helps us to get to the core of what we want to be doing and who we really are and how we can share the gifts that we have been given with the world. And so often as women, we're too busy. I don't have time, right? It's too late for me to change. I'm too old. Sometimes we think that we have to know it all. We have to have it all figured out first. And a lot of us feel like we don't want to invest in ourselves. I don't want to take that financial investment away from my money, away from my family to invest in myself. That's just not right, right? But in actuality, when we start to invest in ourselves and grow and change, we actually become an asset to the people around us, and they see us happy and they see us experiencing life in a different way. And then they say, oh, I want what she has. I want that. It's so good to see my mom happy. So it's such a great thing when we can just sit down and realize that it's okay to take care of ourselves. So we really have to give ourselves permission to dream. It's the number one thing. Give ourselves permission to dream. There's no limits in what we can dream. Dreaming is free, right? We just get into our creative mind, we get into our imagination, we start to think about some of the things we want to be doing. And as we start to do that, these things start to grow and they change and they expand. And before you know it, you've got this beautiful, beautiful dream for the life of your future. So, some ways to do this, sometimes we just need to sit in quiet and think about what it is that we want. Put on some instrumental music or maybe something that makes you feel calm and just start to write down everything that comes out of your mind, everything that's in your brain sometimes, all of the things that we have to do just to get all of that out, and then start thinking about what it is that you want. What is the dream for my life? What are my gifts and talents that I want to share with other people? What do I love? What do I love to do? What am I passionate about? What brings me joy? What makes my belly feel really, really excited? Right? So, what is that for you? What fulfills you? What gives you energy? And on the other side of that, what brings you down? Just knowing some of those things that we don't want to be experiencing. And know that you're worthy. Why not you? Right? Who's going to share those gifts with the world if it's not you? We're worthy to receive anything that we want. And I believe it was Jack Canfield that said, if you are given a dream, if you have a dream that you've created, you absolutely have the capacity to make that dream come true. And that's so true. If you can dream it, you can do it. Right? And as we start on this journey and we're creating a vision and maybe doing a vision board, and then we start to step in, we create some easy first steps to go into this vision, right? We start to get some fear. Some fears might start to come up. Fear of change is the number one fear in the world that most people experience. Fear of rejection. What are the people going to say? What is my family going to say? What are my friends going to say when I start showing up differently? Are they going to like me? Are they going to be upset with me? Right? Fear of not knowing enough, fear of wanting everything perfect, fear of having to commit to something in the future. So lots of fears that will come up that scare us and often will keep us safe. So sometimes just in awareness, we can recognize, oh, there's that fear, right? I'm just fear of a little bit of change here. I'm just going to step in and see what that feels like. Because at every stage of the journey, there's always some kind of fear that shows up. Sometimes it's just a bigger fear, right? That we have to work through as we go along. And so there is power in just taking those first few steps. We just start creating the vision. We take 10 minutes every day to just get quiet and think about some of the things that we want to be doing, right? Once we get that done, we start thinking again, okay, what's my first step? What's my first baby step? It's so important to start with a small, manageable step. Otherwise, we get into overwhelm and we get scared, and that fear comes up, and we tell ourselves that we can't do it. So, giving ourselves those small, manageable steps is so important in those first um, steps as we go and step into our vision. And sometimes doing that vision board is a wonderful representation of what you want, right? You can keep it up on your wall, you can put it in your bathroom so you can see those pictures every day and start thinking about what it's going to feel like to be in that situation, to receive some of those things that you want to be receiving. And so we feel what that's going to feel like to be driving our new vehicle, to be writing that book, to be having a new job, to be going back to school, whatever that is for you. We start to feel the feelings. and always taking action. What's the one thing that I can do today that's going to get me closer to my vision? So having some type of a strategy created and written down somewhere, just vaguely, it doesn't have to be set in stone, but by the end of the week, I want to have contacted and reached out or looked for information about this. By the end of this week, I want to have this accomplished. This is what we do in our Kickstarter, 3-step Kickstarter: vision, strategy, and accountability. It makes the process so much easier, right? When you have someone backing you up and keeping you accountable, and someone that's there just beside you, just taking those steps with you. Because I've been there. I've been through those fears of not knowing what's next, and all of those fears that come up that keep us stuck and in a position where we can't move. And that's why the accountability is so important in your vision. So hopefully that's helped you in just taking some steps forward. Vision 101, why we have a vision, what is it all about? But it's just planning. Today is when we plan for tomorrow, right? Today is when we plan for the future. So always having some type of a intention, a goal, a strategy, a vision as we go forward that pulls us. Having that strong foundation and that why is so important in our future. So if you'd like some help with this, I'd love to chat with you about it. If you're getting stuck on your vision and you just need some assistance, I'd love to talk with you. So just reply to this or get a hold of me on Facebook, Judy Lee, the Vision Creator. And you can email me also at getclearonyourvision@gmail.com. And I'd love to chat with you. So hopefully you found this helpful, and until next time.